I'm not saying what it was, but it was big, bigger than any man I've ever seen.
Unit 4, be advised. We've got another report of a missing hiker. No contact for over 12 hours.
It was supposed to be routine. Thomas Messick Sr., a father-grandfather, veteran and retired corrections officer, was not a man easily rattled. He had spent most of his life outdoors, despite being 82 years old, partially deaf, and walking with a cane after a recent leg injury. He still carried a rifle and joined his longtime hunting group for one more trip into the woods. They drove to Lily Pond, a quiet patch near Brant Lake in Warren County. It was a place they knew well, isolated, serene, and perfect for stalking deer in late fall. The plan was simple. Tom and a few others would act as watchers, stationed at fixed points, while the rest of the group walked the ridges, pushing deer toward them. It was a strategy that had worked dozens of times before. Messick sat down near the trailhead, within earshot of the others. He never moved from that spot again. When the men regrouped 2 hours later, they expected to find Tom waiting with his rifle across his lap, just like always. Instead, there was nothing. No Tom, no sounds, no struggle, no sign. They called his name, they fired shots into the air. They searched until dark, still nothing. As night fell, the temperature dropped below freezing. The men, shaken, called for help. What followed was one of the most intense search operations in Adirondack history. Among those involved in the search, strange details began to surface, details that weren't released to the public right away. One of the hunters claimed to have heard a loud, unnatural snap in the woods, too loud to be a branch, too sudden to ignore. It came from the direction where Tom had been posted. But when they investigated, there was nothing. No one saw or heard an animal. There were no signs of foul play, no evidence of a body dragged off. No blood, no struggle, just silence. And then there was the involvement of military units, a curious detail. Given that this was an elderly man presumed missing in the woods, why did the military respond? Why so quietly? Over the next 2 weeks, more than 300 searchers combed the area. Helicopters flew grid patterns. State troopers, forest rangers, and even the U.S. military joined the effort. Search dogs swept the woods, drones scanned the treetops. Volunteers walked shoulder to shoulder across acres of land. They found nothing. Not a shoe, not a rifle, not a pair of glasses, not even a dropped shell casing. Search dogs couldn't catch a single scent trail. It was as if Messick had evaporated from the face of the earth. The search was quietly scaled back. Theory 1: accident or medical emergency. Could Messick have collapsed and died in a hidden ravine? Possibly, but hundreds of searchers, trained and equipped, should have found something. Theory 2: animal attack. There was no blood, no signs of a struggle. Predators don't erase people without a trace. Theory 3: abduction or foul play. Unlikely, given the isolated terrain and lack of evidence. Who would target an 82-year-old man in the forest? Theory 4: the unexplained. That's where this case drifts into chilling territory. Messick's story is one of dozens documented by retired law enforcement officer David Paulides in his Missing 411 series, Cases Where People Vanish. Under strange circumstances in national forests, the common threads are unnerving. Experienced outdoorsmen. Bad weather follows the disappearance. Search dogs fail. No remains are ever found. Sometimes strange sounds or lights are reported. And always no closure. 10 years later, Thomas Messick Sr. is still missing. His family never found peace. No sign of him has ever surfaced. To this day, the woods near Lily Pond remain quiet, too quiet, some would say. Messick wasn't the first to vanish in the Adirondacks, and he may not be the last. How does a man simply disappear? Not run away, not hide, but vanish rifle. Clothes, body, everything without a single clue. The answer lies somewhere in the shadows of those ancient woods, or maybe far beyond them.